Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Kay Cote, and I am your podcast host here at Action Coach in Central Texas. Today on the show, we have Todd Denton, managing partner at Lithic Industries, as my guest. We're going to be talking about his business, his journey to business ownership, and the challenges and best practices that he's learned along the way. If this is your first time on our channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when we drop episodes like this one. Welcome to the show, Todd. It's great to have you here. I'd love a little introduction of you and your business.
Thank you, Kay. So our business is primarily dimensional limestone. We own mines and we mine rock out of the ground and then cut it into cladding that you see on hospitals and schools and houses and that kind of thing all across the state of Texas and even across state lines. We do a lot of work in North Carolina and Utah and some in California and some in Michigan. So we are busy, to say the least. My partner and I met in grad school. So our story is an interesting one. He worked for the railroad and I worked in the medical device world. Our midlife crisis was to go back to school and get our master's. And that's where he and I met. From there, after we graduated, we decided to jump in and buy a business. So we looked for a struggling business that could use some sound business principles and something we didn't necessarily know anything about. We wanted to be in manufacturing. We knew that much. And so we jumped into the deep end of the pool and bought this rock quarry in 2017.
That is an incredible journey, and it's very cool to see how you guys have taken something and built it into what it is today. I'd like to dive into your role, what that looks like on a day to day. Would you say that you're more working on the business, in the business, or a little bit of both?
So I've transitioned out of working in the business. The first year and a half or so, every day my partner and I spent in the business. In 2018, we bought it in 2017. At the end of 2018, we had changed everything we knew to change and wanted to change. And so we had a consulting company come in and spend about 6 weeks with us so that we could tell them what we wanted this to look like. And they built some efficiency models based on our projections, what we wanted to do and wanted to see and what we wanted to follow on a daily basis. And that really was a launching pad for then us to grow. We had to do just some basic business principles. We had to build in some process. The former company was family-owned business since 1996. They'd done it the same way for a long time, and they'd been quite successful. But I think they had reached a point, they'd reached that ceiling that all businesses reach, where you're either going to grow or you're going to begin to fall backwards. And they were beginning to fall backwards. And they didn't have the energy or the interest to make it go to the next level. And so we bought it and started changing it from there. As an example, when we bought it, they were doing about 1.7 million a year in revenue. We've now since then, we average 3.2 million in revenue on an annual basis, just simply by building processes around what's done on a day-to-day basis. And then what we track, we pay attention to our variable costs, the cost that we can control. We match that to sales, and we try to make sure that our variable costs don't exceed our sales. It's an easy principle, but it's really difficult to implement if it's not already in place.
Oh, definitely. Well, it's really interesting to hear this kind of evolution of the business and how you've reworked it and helped it grow. Like currently, how many employees do you guys have?
Right now, within the current economic state of really high inflation and slow economy in general, especially in the construction world and the building world in our markets, it's slowed down quite a bit. We're down to about 13 employees, hourly employees, and we have three now. Sorry, four full-time staff. We just took one. We had five, and we cut that back to a part-time position And so we're managing our costs as best we can.
Oh, definitely. And if I were to like walk into your business, how would I know I would be a great client for you?
So, to walk in our business, we built some IT around that. So we would direct you to our website first, and you'd go and find that. We're not really designers so much. We're just the fabricators of whatever you desire, what you want. So to enter into our business as a customer, individual customer, it would be best to enter it through the website and look and see what we have and services we offer. And then from there, you could contact our estimating department. We can actually do takeoffs for you. We can take your plans and determine how much rock you need, in what sections and what areas, both by square foot, linear foot, or just by the piece, depending on what you want. So we can help you with that kind of planning and make sure that we match the product to your end goals. You wouldn't want to physically come to our quarry. It's not a design center. It's a manufacturing plant. So it wouldn't do much good. You wouldn't enjoy it more than likely. It wouldn't be. We don't have a beautiful office with a nice wall of design options for you to choose from. Our website's really built for that and designed to do that.
Well, that's very cool that you have such a strong virtual presence to kind of showcase what your offerings are. I'd like to dive in. What makes your business unique? Like how and why do your clients choose you?
I would say what makes our business unique is the customer service we provide. Most manufacturing entities don't do that. Um, they stop you at the door when you enter in and try to get help and send you somewhere else. Usually with the comments, "Look, we just make it. We don't help you design it. We don't want to uncover your vision. We just want to make the end product."
Hmm.
Um, so we try to take one step beyond that, and our goal is we use the term, don't just milk the cow, but feed the cow.
Hmm.
And so we try to make sure that when people do call us, even though we might not be the right place for them to start, we help navigate them to the right place. So we have partners that we do a lot with. We have architects and designers that we send those folks to, and knowing that they're going to come back to us when they figure out what they want.
Mm. That's really great too, because that's giving your customers that full, well-rounded experience and putting them in the right directions. What is one thing that you wish people knew more about your business?
Um, I wish that people knew how high quality stone can be as an option for many of the design needs that are out there. Um, for me, if every building was made of stone, it would be outstanding. I get it
Mhm.
that would be a boring place. Um, so there are a lot of facts that are misconstrued and really and sometimes many times in error in the general public about stone and what it does and what it can and can't do. And so that's probably the one thing. Education has been our biggest, one of our biggest and greatest achievements, I think. We spend a lot of time talking to architects. We do architects and designers need continuing education hours, and so we certified ourselves through the National Stone Institute, which is our lobbying body from a political standpoint, and we go and offer lunch and learns for architects to talk about the ins and outs of stone, to educate people on um, geology and in all the aspects. Not there's just lots of things that people don't know and don't appreciate. Yes, there are no limits to what we can do with the stone um, imaginatively, but there are definitely physical limitations to the stone, and certain stones from certain areas of the world respond differently than others.
Mhm. That makes a lot of sense. A lot like other things like wood or different types of hardness or how porous things are. I could see that
Correct.
being a factor. So,
Right.
um, well, thank you for giving me that kind of overview of your business. I'd love to dive into marketing and what you're doing in your marketing pursuits because I love to just share what successful businesses are doing to grow in their marketing. So, for your business, what has been your marketing platform that's been working for you recently?
You know, as far as marketing goes, that was a process that we had to learn. And the first thing we had to learn is what was our manufacturing capacity? What could we actually manufacture and make here at our plant? What's the most that we could kick out on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis? We first had to learn that. And then from there, we determined, okay, what is the right client for us? What maximizes our profitability? So from a marketing standpoint, to we changed our customer base entirely. So the customer base we have today does not look anything like the customer base that we had when we purchased the company back in 2017. That's primarily because the customer base that we had then didn't fit our manufacturing capacity.
Mhm.
Um, we're best and most efficient in avenues where we can make a lot of one thing over time. So we'd rather do a school as an example, which might need 500 tons of a certain size of white rock. That lets us efficiently use the equipment we have and maximize the profitability of that. So what we did is we backed away from um, Kay Cote, as an example, being our direct customer,
Mhm.
to you are an indirect customer of ours, and you buy your stone from, let's say, Alamo Stone, or from um, I-10 Stone Solutions, or from Whittlesey Landscape in Austin. Those are some of our clients who come to us and they order 5 truckloads at a time.
Mhm.
And so we're making one thing for them, and our efficiencies go way up when we can do that. Versus if Kay comes by our facility and we spend hours with Kay designing her house, and then she orders 1 truckload, well, you can see where that wasn't the most efficient way for us to do it. So we
Mhm.
changed the way we marketed by who we marketed to. So we went after the clients that where Kay goes to visit, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. And we sell to them. So Kay never knows that she gets her stone from us. Um, she goes to those people who are equipped to do it. They have nice showrooms and books that you can look through and design centers. We don't really do that. And so we changed the way we did it. So we went from a customer base that was individual customers to basically just wholesale customers who come to us, place large orders, we fulfill those orders, send them out. So we went from having 250 customers on our client list to we have about 15 now.
Hmm.
And we service those 15. We service them well. That works great in a healthy economy. It's kind of tough when the economy slows down because our 15 customers are slow as well.
Mhm.
So we have to go find outlets to sell stone again. And we've had to kind of back off of that. But one of the things we did do is we allowed our customers to tie into our website and use that as a link on their website. And then we use HubSpot uh, as a as a backdrop for ours. So we have a staff that follow and monitor that, the people who visit our website. We create lists of architects, designers, um, individuals, and then we ferret that information out to our customer base, who can then also draw off of that and grow that. Um, we do directly talk to um, occasionally, like school districts or hospitals, as an example. Um, we are the provider for stone on all the projects that Baylor Scott and White designs and builds
Mhm.
in Texas. We do that directly, that kind of stuff directly. But as a general rule, we don't go directly to the customer. We let others do that, and we're in the background.
Okay, that's really interesting to learn about your business structure as you kind of like transition from like the B2C to the B2B market. Kind of looking at, are you using any social media pursuits with your marketing? Or are you pretty much sticking to like website, email, that kind of thing?
We do have some we definitely have our website that we monitor heavily. We do have social media. We have Instagram and we have Facebook. We don't post that much on Facebook. We do post a lot of photos on Instagram. And as we continue to expand our business into other markets, those are growing as well. Um, we're transitioning away from just quality stone to Lithic Industries. Quality Stone is the DBA that Lithic operates under, as
Mhm.
far as the IRS is concerned. That's the stone quarry, but Lithic Industries is now developing some interest outside of that. So we now have a website for Lithic Industries that you can visit that shows the other avenues that we're engaged in and traveling along, and we're building a bigger presence from a social media standpoint through those two avenues. As we don't spend as much time on the quarry just because it's pictures. So we do send pictures out and we post those a lot. We update the website all the time with new pictures. Uh, and the other two entities are beginning to grow and take off and gain momentum. So as those continue to grow and develop, the social media side of that will continue to grow and develop.
Okay, that's really great to hear kind of how you structured that. We've talked a lot about the marketing. I'd like to dive into a little bit about you and your experience in this business. And as you look back at your journey so far in business, can you share about one hurdle or roadblock that you had that you overcame and how that affected your personal growth in business?
Um, I would say when we bought the company, we kept the original family on as employees, and they had their way of doing things, and we had our way of doing things. And so, looking back on that, um, I don't think I would. I think that was an obstacle that I would have eliminated much quicker, uh, because they were a impediment to our growth. They didn't want to grow in the ways we wanted to grow. They disagreed with it all the time. They even sabotaged it many times.
Mm.
So thankfully, after about a year of being in the business and being here every day and learning everything in a business in a market we didn't know anything about, neither my partner nor I knew anything about it. But after a year, we felt comfortable with that, and so we allowed those folks to pursue other interests, and that worked out well.
Mm.
We should have done that sooner. I think it would have made our transition quicker. But you learn as you go. That's the one thing I've appreciated about this journey is um, the daily learning that goes on, and that's really required if you're going to be successful. You're going to have to learn and grow and pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And if you don't, you're going to lose, and it's going to be it's going to be unfortunate on many levels. So that would be the first one. There are others, and I'm happy to share those, but that's the first one.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. And that just shows, like letting grow. I call it like letting go. It's like letting grow, and you were able to, move forward. And kind of like thinking forward, what do you see with your business in terms of growth for the next 3 to 5 years?
So we're transitioning right now, and that's been one of the big obstacles we've found. We're transitioning from just solely a rock quarry and a operating limestone mine to manufacturing what we call a polymer masonry unit. It's basically a brick. We have patented and now proven through a lot of extensive research and study that we can take our waste pile and make it into a functioning brick. So it'll look just like a traditional clay fired brick that you'd have on your house, with one exception. Our process does not require the use of a kiln. So you don't have to fire these bricks. They dry ambiently. We have created a proprietary method whereby we can make these brick using a proprietary polymer that we own and have designed. And that polymer is the binding agent that makes the brick uh, viable and sustainable. So we call it intelligent stewardship. We're trying to be good stewards with the resources that we have.
Mm.
And the beautiful thing about this, the carbon footprint from the method that we've designed is dramatically reduced from traditional brick manufacturing because we don't have a kiln. There's no oven. There's no drying room. There's no nothing. They just dry ambiently, and the bricks come out and look like a beautiful traditional brick, but it's made out of limestone.
Wow, that is very cool. That's very intriguing. I enjoy hearing that part of your business. And kind of like goes perfectly into my next question when it comes to goal setting. This sounds like a goal that you're setting. What is your approach to goal setting and how do you move forward with goals to find success?
So we try to make the goals achievable, and we don't have too many. So our one objective right now is to transition into this brick manufacturing facility. We're in the middle of doing that. There's a lot of challenges with that, uh,
Hmm.
and we're moving into that because we also have to acknowledge that the resource as we know it today, the dimensional stone that we use and sell on a daily basis, eventually the resource is going to be gone from that aspect.
Hmm.
Um, there's still going to be rock on the ground, but the rock that's left is not suitable for dimensional processing. It can be used for other things. Um, so we've had to acknowledge that. And one of our goals is to make that transition as smoothly as possible because we know that our resource, the raw material that we have access to on the land that we own is only so much. Rock doesn't grow itself.
Hmm.
Rock was created by forces of nature, either in our area, like by water, pressure and water and time, in other areas by heat and pressure and time. So it is what it is. So we're trying to, that's what led us down this path of intelligent stewardship and using what we have in the best way possible to make the world a better place. We're also transitioning the polymer that we developed and have really become to understand fully can be used as a soil stabilizer and dust control agent. So it's excellent for renewable energy sites. It keeps the dust down, and dust is the enemy for solar power and
Hmm.
for wind, for that matter. Dust on solar panels can reduce the efficiency of those panels dramatically. So
Hmm.
if we can reduce the amount of migrant dust in the air, which we can, we've now done it in California on the coastline in Santa Barbara, and we're working to do that in more places across the world. Um, that just makes the grid that much more stable, and it
Hmm.
makes things more accessible, and it's just better all the way around. So we are transitioning ourselves. It won't be long before we're no longer a rock quarry and a dimensional limestone manufacturer. We're making brick and stabilizing road base and aggregate roads all over America.
Wow, it's incredible to hear your journey and your goals that are coming up. We've covered a lot of ground in this conversation. And to anybody listening or watching this, be sure to take a few times through this because there's a lot of great nuggets of information in here. So, Todd, as we're wrapping up in our conversation, I'd like to ask some rapid fire questions. These are some questions, just answer top of mind, first thing that comes to mind. Are you ready for some rapid fire?
Sure.
All right. Question number one is, what is a key to success for you?
The key to success for us has been don't stop. If a door closes, look for the open window or door that is around it because there's one there. You just might have to change your path, and don't be afraid to change your path.
That is great advice. Next question is, what is a piece of advice you have for other business owners?
Be committed more to what you're doing and less to um, the technical aspects of the business. By that, I mean, find a mission that you can believe in and grab a hold of and take ownership of and make that your purpose for being, not just to make money.
Hmm. That's powerful too. Next question is, what is a book or any piece of content, it could be a podcast, that you've taken in most recently?
Um, let's see. One of my it's become a favorite book. It's called America's First Prophet, and it's how the story of Moses and the Exodus of the Jewish nation out of Egypt matches the history of the United States, going back to the Revolution until today, and how there have been many people deemed as a modern day Moses, and it went through all the historical evidence to back that up. It was a great book.
Oh, I'm going to put that on my list. That sounds super interesting.
Yep.
Oh, and our final question is, if you had to choose only one area of your business you could rapidly improve tomorrow, what would it be?
Um, I would say I would the automation that's available in the stone world, the stone manufacturing side of this is still a relatively manual process.
Hmm.
And there, it doesn't mean that we wouldn't want to have as many employees. It just means we'd like to be more efficient, and you can only be so. Technology has its limitations in our world. We can only do so much. Technology hasn't caught up in our world uh, from an automation standpoint as much as I would like.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, thank you for answering those rapid fire questions. Before we get into our final question for today, how can people learn about your business? Feel free to share any contact info, website, anything you'd like.
Sure. So the website for the rock quarry is www.qualitystone.com. The website for our main holding company is www.lithic Visit both those sites. We welcome you. We want your input. Love for you to see what we're doing here at Lithic Industries, where the mission matters, and our mission is intelligent stewardship.
Mm.
You can also reach me just at my web by email, which is the letter T is in Todd Denton, Denton at lithicindustries.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Todd, for sharing that information. Our final question for today is, what is most inspiring to you today?
You know, most inspiring to me today is that the next generation behind us that's coming up, I'm really encouraged by their stability and their intelligence. I think the younger crowd gets a bad rap many times. Mostly, I think it's just contrived because the media does that to gain interest and peak interest. But
Mm.
I'm encouraged by the younger generation. I think they're smart. I think they're also discerning, and they're able to see through things that may be fabrications or not entirely true, and they make good solid decisions. So I'm most encouraged by that. I don't think the world is going to hell in a handbasket. I think it's going to be just fine um, if we mentor that young crowd better. Then everything is better.
Oh, those are great words. Well, thank you so much, Todd. It's been a joy to have you on the show today.
Yeah, thanks, Kay. I appreciate the opportunity.